Hey guys, apologies in advance for the shitty gameplay. I honestly couldn't be fucked to get anything better. So I've been taking a bit of a break from Roblox lately, mostly due to the lack of new and interesting games coming out in the platform, but also due to a burnout from playing it too much. And I've been playing games like Due Process, Siege, CSGO, and you guessed it, Call of Duty. I'm a bit of a completionist, so if I start a game that has some sort of like level progression or progression system or whatever, you can be damn sure I'm going to try and max everything out, which is fine for games like Modern Warfare because the game was a fresh take on the franchise as a whole, and it was all pretty fun to play, which I know it's kind of a hot take since I know there's like a shit ton of people out there that genuinely believe it's like the worst COD multiplayer to exist. But I also pretty much exclusively played Search and Destroy, gunfight, and like shoot the ship, so... But yeah, I fell for the hype for Cold War. I saw improvement in Modern Warfare, so I automatically assumed the game would be an improvement from Modern Warfare. And hell, even if it was like a Modern Warfare just with the 80s Cold War paint job, I honestly would have been happy with that. But no, it was much worse. I can't play more than one game of Cold War without either wanting to fall asleep or staple my fucking balls to the ceiling. And I'm going to try to explain why. I was going to make a criminally overrated video on this game, but I believe my opinion is pretty much shared amidst a lot of the people that play this game. And it's also not really even worth the time. That's how shit of a game it is. Alright, so the first thing that makes this game boring is really just the guns. What I think made Modern Warfare so addicting was how good the guns felt to use. Mark Rigsby, Hyper, and all the animators involved in Modern Warfare did an astounding job with all the view model animations. And even guns that weren't particularly powerful had really great animations and sounds, so they were still fun to use. Sound design in Modern Warfare was also pretty astounding, for the most part.
There's no audio. Good job, guys. Hey, good job, Infinity Ward. Look at this dude sprinting around. Nothing. The guy at top. Nothing. No audio. Nothing.
Cold War's guns fucking puke. The sounds the guns make are like sounds a battery-powered Nerf gun would make, and the recoil and animations feel super fucking floaty. Like, just watch these two clips real quick, comparing the two guns from each game. If you were to take two side-by-side pictures of each game, you probably wouldn't see a huge difference, but when you play it, you definitely feel it. You've got to get guns right in a first-person shooter because that's like literally the entirety of a first-person shooter's gameplay. Every gun in Cold War has like the exact same 55 attachments for every single primary in the game. This is boring. Modern Warfare's gunsmith worked really well because of the sheer variety of attachments each gun had. Some guns had special barrels that would drastically increase the rate of fire of a weapon. Some guns had ammo conversions that would turn into a completely new gun, and attachments in general. That just made it more of a drastic change to the weapon in Modern Warfare than they did in Cold War. Every attachment had an equally drastic downside to its upside. For example, if you wanted to get better mobility on an assault rifle, you could collapse the stock at the cost of a pretty substantial increase in recoil. You really had to know how the gun was handled, and you had to use the attachments that you know would be most beneficial for the playstyle you have with the gun, if that makes any sense. In Cold War, the downside for each attachment was extremely small, so really the only strategy involved with slapping attachments on is really just putting on whatever gives the highest percentages, and you eventually wind up with a gun that's just a direct upgrade to what you had previously, and it's absolutely brainless. Also, it might just be me, but time to kill feels a tad too long. Modern Warfare's time to kill was quick enough to feel good, but slow enough so you didn't call bullshit to every death you had. Another thing that sucked in Cold War were the maps. When the only fun maps in the game are remakes of maps that were in previous games, then you have a huge problem. The only maps I found mildly fun to play that were actually originals were Amsterdam and Diesel, which are both gunfight maps. Modern Warfare also had some pretty bad maps, however. I can list a huge slew of maps that are actually pretty fun in the game. Excluding remakes, there's Hackney Yard, Gunrunner, Ramaza, I probably pronounced that wrong, Shoot House, Atlas Superstore, Kandor Hideout, Hovek Sawmill, Petrov Oil Rig, Stadium Station, even Azir Cave to some extent. Were all original maps that were pretty fun to play. Every single Cold War map is a 3-lane map with little to no deviation. They all look and feel the exact same, with the exception of Miami, which still is a shitty map, but I do like the theme of that. Hell, Armada is literally just mirrored on both sides, which, makes sense because it is a ship. So, but Hijacked is not exactly mirrored on both sides, and that's a ship. So I don't know. Yeah, it's just fucking boring. 3-lane maps aren't always a bad idea, but Cold War's 3-lane maps are heavy 3-lane maps. Very rarely do you decide, oh, I don't want to be in this lane anymore, and transfer over. Most of the time you'll be if you're like in the far left or far right lane, you're pretty much locked in those lanes, and maybe there's like one way to transfer to the middle lane, but that's about it. You're mostly just going to be stuck in whatever lane you chose. The perk system also sucks. Majority of people run the wild card that allows you to equip 6 perks instead of 3, so a large majority of people are running things like Tac Mask, Flak Jacket, and Ninja. This gives basically no incentive to run flashes, stuns, or really any explosive weapons, and Ninja makes it really hard to pinpoint nearby enemy positions. I don't know a single person that likes dying to someone using Dead Silence in Modern Warfare, so I don't know why they decided to make it a permanent perk, but, okay. Modern Warfare's perks are also much more balanced in general, and every time I would look up, best loadout this, best loadout that on YouTube for Modern Warfare, everyone uses fairly varied perk combinations. The new kill streak system in this game also implements fucking blows, and every time you're doing good and going on a long ass kill streak, it still takes an eternity to get something really game changing. It's supposed to be like a balancing thing for bad players, but honestly, they'll never earn anything substantial with this new kill streak system in time anyways, so it really only negatively affects good players, and lowering skill gaps in games makes the replay value plummet. If you look at games like Team Fortress 2, the reason that they last so long is because it takes a long time to fully master a single character, and I'm talking like hundreds of hours. And Cold War has little to no skill ceiling, which, yeah, sure, it makes it accessible for old-ass men and freaking embryos, but it gives little incentive to play the game for long periods of time. Last thing I would like to talk about is zombies, which is really the main reason I, and I'm sure most other people, bought the game in the first place, just because of the way it was advertised and everything. It's way too easy. Like I said previously, it makes it more accessible, but it gives no reason to play them more than a few times. You can start off with whatever gun you want, with whatever attachments you want. You start with 5 hit points, and you can just straight up buy ammo from an ammo box. From a few times I've played zombies, I don't think I've bought a gun off the wall even once, or used the mystery box even once, which is absurd to think about because that is like debatably zombies' most iconic feature. What made original zombies so fun was its resource management and simplicity, and ammo was scarce for powerful weapons, and the only way to buy ammo directly was with a wall buy weapon, which were generally very weak. So there's nothing really more exciting than getting a max ammo pickup in the nick of time in the original zombies, but now it's just like, fuck it, you just buy from a box, who cares. Anyways, my point with this video is I'm basically never going to buy another Call of Duty game ever again, nor am I ever going to buy another Activision product ever again after this one, and I'm not going to buy into hype like I used to. I can only ever hope Battlefield 2042 is a good game, and if it isn't, well, I don't care. At least I've got Battlefield 4 in due process. For those of you guys that have been waiting for me to post actual content, don't worry, I've got a special surprise planned in about a week or so. So yeah, thanks for listening to my pointless ass rant. It was very therapeutic, and I'm glad I got it off my chest. I have no regrets.